Now I'm back again to do some actually decent content, unlike the dumpster fire that was somehow my most popular video. So now I'm gonna be shitting out some better quality videos again. So, my June holidays just started, and what better to talk about my school experience as I shit on my school and shit on my CCA too. So, for the first experience I want to talk about, I had a mother tongue teacher in primary 6, which is like elementary school if you're not in an Asian country. I took the Chinese language and I wasn't really good at it because I wasn't Chinese. So I already was struggling. Now my first few years were actually fine at primary 5 until I had a huge bitch of a teacher who I will be referring to as Miss Jackass. Now she was a huge asshole and scolded some of us to the point of tears, and then when they cried she went, "Why are you crying?" And no surprise, I failed Chinese even harder because none of us learned jack shit from her lessons, as all of it was just screaming her lungs out as students for minor inconveniences. Now it was even worse in primary 6 when the class expanded in numbers. Now, when some of my friends were laughing quietly, she screamed her ass out and wasted our time, then blamed it all on us. Like, bitch, make your scolding shorter. Now, during an oral examination, which is basically speaking Chinese to an examiner, she tested one of the students who was as confused as most of us. And when he struggled to speak, instead of being a good teacher by asking like simpler questions because we are entitled to that, she yelled her fucking lungs out until the student cried and we heard it outside. I remember me and a few of my friends felt so bad for him. He was a very emotional person in my class. And when she punished me for whispering, she made me stand up while constantly yelling until I teared up. She also ruined my June holidays by talking bad shit about me to my parents when she was the one sabotaging our learning with her giant screaming sessions. And she's called me short out loud when she scolded me for small banter with my friends. I swear, I have never hated a person as much as I did to this bitch. She also talked shit about me to her students, to my juniors, and when I returned back to my primary school after a few years for my homecoming with my friends, we asked a staff member what happened to her, and she got transferred, which I like to think means she got complaints from parents and was fired. I swear, me and all my friends who were with me that took her class celebrated her leaving the school like it was the death of fucking Hitler. It was that bad. So, before we continue on the video, I would like to personally thank you guys for 63 subscribers, and we're nearing 10k views. Yes, I know 63 subscribers ain't a lot, but like that's huge for me, and I'd like to personally thank you guys for that. So, before we get to one of the bigger stories, I'm gonna do two short stories. It was in the morning during a boring ass maths class. For no reason, the guy beside me exposed me to VTubers and lore dumped a thing called Backtuber lore, which is just a group around the VTuber Vidal's back on like a cooking stream. I'm friends with this guy now and I watch Nirosama because of him. I remember in Sec 1 to 2, I really liked rage baiting and I was a super edgy person. I rage baited one of my friends who had enough of my bullshit. Then he took a fucking stapler, held it in his hand, and Falcon punched me, using it as a fucking makeshift brass knuckle. And for the next day and a half, I had a fucking brain splitting headache. And ever since, I stopped rage baiting because I learned my lesson and I mostly stopped being edgy. Time for the big story and the main reason why I wanted to make this video. So, I currently have this classmate that I absolutely despise with all my heart. Now, for some reason, he was a very weird person, but weird is a understatement for him. I won't get into detail, but he was on that freaky timing which involved chat logs and photos. He got beat up for that in secondary 1. In secondary 2, I sat beside this freak and he sits beside me before asking, "Do you goon?"
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck?
Then he starts ranting beside me about his sexual fantasies in my ear mid class and telling me about corn sites. At the time, I did not know what he was talking about. I found out eventually what he meant, and I was actually sick to my stomach. One incident that scared and pissed me off was when during recess, when no warning, he took my school issued Chromebook for no reason while I was watching something. He then bashed it against the locker when I tried to retrieve it, causing my Chromebook to dent and my screen to pop forward. I had a minor crash out cursing him out, which is my bad, and I brought up his family in my insults. That's when my friend, who was beside me, told me to run. I looked at him with an eyebrow raised, and when I turned back, this prick was holding a fucking badminton racket, and then I dashed off. I don't know how I ran that fast, considering I'm a short, obese chud. Probably because I hit the jackpot when I drank an energy drink that day. I sprinted to the nearest bathroom and ran through a crowd of people to slow him down before hiding in the bathroom for a bit. My heart was in my ass when I backed against the wall. I returned to class like 9 minutes late, came up with some lame ass excuse that worked somehow, and the teacher didn't bat an eye. Currently, he is in the same class as me, unfortunately, and he is still a huge piece of shit, who I heard from a friend openly brags about cheating on his girlfriend, which I'm actually surprised he has one, considering that him being a misogynist. Now, what makes this motherfucker so pathetic is that he listens to some cringy ass funk music in his ears and acts like he is tough. Every time someone brings a valid argument, this guy goes, "You wanna fight?" Like a pathetic little goober. If you are wondering how this guy is somehow not expelled, I don't know myself. Supposedly, there was a police case about the chat logs and the pictures, and he didn't get expelled for some reason, probably due to the fact that he's a minor. When I had some friendly banter with my friend and the teacher told me to come to her to talk and tell us to knock it off, this motherfucker has the audacity to call me a disgrace. So I simply bring up his past, and of course, he replies with, "Let's settle it then." It does not matter if he can kick my ass. It still doesn't change the fact that he's a fucking incel loser with a superiority complex. This motherfucker also supposedly failed art. He is also barely passing basic subjects and is calling me, the retard, which pisses me off a lot. Well, that's the end of that story. It's the perfect time to transition to the last segment. Imagine this. It's been a tiring day at school and you want to go home. Well, fuck your exhaustion and you can throw out going home after school out the window with CCA. Now, what is CCA? CCAs are co curricular activities in schools which are mandatory. There are different CCA categories like clubs, performing arts, uniform groups, and sports. Unfortunately for me, I picked uniform groups because I was a fucking dumbass. Now, if you are wondering what uniform groups are, it's drills, camps, basically free trial to the military. Yay. Now, when I first joined my uniform group, I realized too late I made a huge mistake. At my first camp, it was fucking hell. And I wanted to bash my head against the wall on the first day of a 3 day, 2 night camp. Great start. Then on another camp, we had to walk 10 to 15 kilometers, and at the end, I was a huge mess. The people in charge were actually chill, mostly like the instructors and the teachers in charge. But the same can't be said for my current CCA leaders, which are basically students in the CCA which are put in charge of the company. The main CCA leader was pretty fucking annoying, saying some jokes about jorking it constantly when I'm tired. And the other, who is the co in charge, was just a piece of shit, who was just a huge douche. Now, in Sec 1, they were both my privates with me, and I was pretty annoying back then, so I guess that factors in how they treat me now. But regardless, I'm different from last time. Now they get the high rolls and I'm just logistics, aka one of the most painful roles in my CCA, where I have to go into the room holding the equipment, take it down, and upon the end of the CCA, I have to stay back longer and put back the items with two others I'm assigned with, which is actual ass. I picked the CCA because it seemed fun at first, and then it took a nosedive when I had to attempt camp. Well, I got a few more months till I don't have to attend this CCA anymore, and I'm actually relieved I will be free soon. So, by the time I post this video, it's no longer my school holidays as my procrastination issues fuck me in the ass. And if you couldn't tell, this is actually a 60 subscriber special. So, thank you for 60 subscribers. I'll see you all in the next upload.